Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the audio video room. Today is Sunday, and I'm kind of doing a special episode because the wife left for work, and the first thing I did was sit on the couch and start to watch some TV shows, catch up a little bit on YouTube, and listen to some music upstairs. Now that I'm upstairs in my AV room, just got done playing some 70s stuff on reel to reel, some stuff that was recorded off the radio. And I got to thinking, I'm going to do a response video. Now, this is a response challenge that's going out by a fellow by the name of the Vinyl Scavenger. I had already subscribed to him, so hopefully I helped him meet his 500 goal. That was his push to 500 subscribers. Same sort of push I'm going through. Now, he's doing it considerably longer, probably has considerably more records than me, but I'm just trying to entertain the masses, entertain myself, and jump in on some fun because I don't really know too many people where I live to talk about records with. So I'm choosing all of you guys, the vinyl community. So help me jump to 500, hit my subscribe, and we're going to jump into this Red or Dead challenge. This is from the Vinyl Scavenger, and I watched a video by Craig Danger, the record player, and Jen's Addiction, and they had great responses to this Red or Dead challenge. So that sort of motivated me to get up off my butt and do this. Let's get to it. So the whole goal is 5 records that have red on the spine or on the cover, and then 5 people that are dead affiliated with the records. That was a relatively hard one for me. I didn't know which way to go. I made some obvious choices in both categories. But we're going to start with the red section. And the red section I'm starting with is this, which is Eric Clapton Backlist. Now, this is from 1978. This was his 6th studio album. My copy I got is, I made some notes here. It's got a TML in the dead wax for the mastering lab, and you can kind of see that textured cover. Now, this was Eric's 6th studio album in November of 1978. It is a gatefold, you can see there. And man, I just like, I may disagree with what some of Eric Clapton says, but man, he's Eric Clapton for a reason. This is a this is a bin win, if you will. I got this thing for under $10. You can get this thing for under $10. This is, like I said, a 78 pressing. It's a dead wax mastering lab pressing. It can go for as much as $50 if it's clean, but on average runs for about $5. You can't beat it. I mean, look for that mastering lab in the dead wax and read the reviews on Discogs. It's a crushingly good and well cut album. Now this is on the RSO label. You know, I got to know that back in the 70s rather well. It was on Grease, and I played that record a lot. Now this has got, like I said, this has got some cool songs on it. One of which is a J.J. Cale song, "I'll Make Love to You Anytime." This has "Watch Out for Lucy" on it, "Tulsa Time." Um, yeah, it's a win. It's a win, and it's, like I said, it's a bin win. So this is my first red. This is showing you, we got a red cover and then the red back. I tried to be obvious with these things. Second one I have is a personal favorite. I'm going to take it out of the plastic here because I have it in a protective case for it. Now, you may not know anything about this band. You may know something about this band. If you're a fan of Joy Division or New Order, this is Monaco. Monaco is a production with David Potts, a UK singer. And sort of, I've always thought of David Potts as what if Bernard Sumner could sing? Take that. What if Bernard Sumner could sing? Yeah, I said it. I love Bernard Sumner, but David Potts is the Bernard Sumner who can sing. Sounds a lot like Bernard Sumner if Bernard could carry a tune. I love Bernard Sumner, but he's a spoken talker. He's a Bob Dylan, if you will. He speaks. He's a Rodriguez. I love him. I wish Peter Hook had never left New Order because I don't like New Order anymore. Peter Hook is New Order to me, his bass, and that carries over. This was a pretty big hit in the UK, maybe not so much here. Here's the back. The hit was "What Have You Done For Me." This is a gatefold. So yeah, you can see it's sort of like a walking around a corner, and these gals are waiting for you. Now, Monaco, this is a 2024 repress of a 1997 album. Um, the cover artwork, as you can see, which is pretty cool, is Peter. Why am I even trying to stay in this frame? Peter Saville. Peter Saville did a lot of the work with Factory, New Order, and Joy Division specifically. This can still be found. This is a repress from Music on Vinyl. It comes on orange vinyl. It's got some remixes, some added stuff to it. I believe on the second side, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Do I know what I'm doing? Well, we're going to keep going. Great album. One of my favorite albums. I have everything by Monaco. They've recently been repressed by Music on Vinyl. 2 albums. And they're fantastic. This thing, oh, I turn it up. So moving on, we've got, now this is where you can see my affinity for soundtracks. This is a red soundtrack with a foil sort of cover in there. You can see it there. That's a foil insert. Oh, this is the soundtrack to Children of the Corn. This is a 1984 Records. This is a sticker that came with it. 1984 Records, sort of one of those boutique labels, if you will, for soundtracks. And this is a great pressing. This was, I believe, their first record they put out for the 1984 label, the Children of the Corn soundtrack. Jonathan Elias is the composer on this, and he's worked a lot with Duran Duran. Specifically, he worked with John Taylor on the 9.5 Weeks soundtrack, where he and John did a song called Do What You Do. I love that track. But let's talk about Children of the Corn. I'm a horror movie fan. This is a horror movie score. If you've ever seen this movie, it's October. This fits. There's the record on this, and a child shall lead them. Pretty cool. I want to say, yeah, it does. There's a insert that came with it here, and it's basically talking about the score, which is cool. This is the back of it. If you've seen Children of the Corn, Stephen King, Children of the Corn, Stephen King book, this soundtrack puts you right back into it. Spooky like you want it to be, 80s like you want it to be. I saw this at the drive-in. I'm a big fan of the drive-in guys, and it stayed with me forever. My co-worker at work, Ricky, wears T-shirts with Children of the Corn on it. I wonder if she has a Malachi shirt. Anyways, Children of the Corn. Next up is, yeah, big surprise, another soundtrack, but it is Halloween, is Shock Treatment. Shock Treatment, the Richard O'Brien, Patricia Quinn, Nell Campbell, all from Rocky Horror, quasi sequel to Rocky Horror, featuring Brad and Janet characters, although recast. This time, Cliff DeYoung and Jessica Harper. Jessica Harper, a dear fave of mine from Suspiria. Jessica Harper from Phantom of the Paradise. So yeah, Shock Treatment, super red cover. Cool album. Now this is a Warner Brothers 1981 pressing. You can see here it is a promotional, that foil promotional stamp. Now this has a sterling, that triangle sterling in the dead wax. It's a fantastic, vibrant, sonic pressing. It sounds like it's the sequel to the Rocky Horror. A little bit more 80s polish, whereas Rocky Horror Picture Show was a little more 70s, but it's got a lot of the same cast members. Richard O'Brien there, who plays the lead in it, played Riff Raff in Rocky Horror. And there's some photographs on the back. Now, this is hard to find in good condition, much less hard to find in a promotional copy. You can find normal copies. It ranges anywhere from $20 to $40. Something to keep in mind, however, is that the song Shock Treatment on this soundtrack, I'll show you the record. The soundtrack, the theme song, if you will, is not the same recording that's found on the 45 single. I have the 45 single over there. It's the same cover as this. It's just shrunk down a little bit. But so 2 different versions. The 45 is the, I want to say this is the movie version. And then the 45 is the Richard O'Brien sung version. So two different takes. If you're a Shock Treatment Rocky Horror fan, pick that up. It's a killer. Last one for the red is an obvious candidate. I had to put it in there. I mean, I can't. When I think of red records, I think of the Beatles, compilation, the red one, and then this. So I figured somebody's got to have done the Beatles by this point. It's an obvious contender. This is an obvious contender as well, but damn it, what an obvious contender. What a great contender. Now, this has a sticker, contains a hit single, Rosanna, I Won't Hold You Back, Good for You, Make Believe, and Africa, which shows that this is probably a later pressing. Now, this pressing is a 1982 pressing. It's a Terre Haute pressing. There's a TI in the dead wax. This is for the University of Vinyl's facts. He likes to know these things, but maybe you do too. You can look these up on Discog with this info. Now, this lacquer was cut at Sterling Sound, and it does have in the recently sold, this was last sold sealed yesterday. I'm recording this on the 19th, and it was sold on the 18th. And this copy sold for $85. Not this copy, but a copy, same pressing, Sterling Sound, Terre Haute pressing, sold for $85. You can find this out in the wild. The average seems to be for a very good plus, which is what this is, about $20. I think I got this recently within the last 2-3 years. I think I got this for $10 at a garage sale. This might have been one of those garage sales that I talked about in the video from yesterday. So it's hard to find records where I live, put it that way. So this copy is sound. So for a VG, I gave it an ultrasonic clean, put it in a new inner liner. Oh man, does this thing sing. It's like, you can't go wrong. Rosanna, Africa. I mean, Weezer's covered Africa at this point. Okay, now we're going to move on to the dead. We've done the red. We're moving on to the dead. So the dead, I'm also trying to do this in one take like the professionals, like the ones I watched from Jen's Addiction and Craig Danger. Did you guys edit those? Because I usually have to put 95 edits in these. Anyways, on to the dead. I'm going to start my dead with, let me get my notes. I know where I want to start. So I'm going to start my dead with a gift from one of my fellow tattoo workers, Justine. Justine bought this for me before she's moved to Georgia. She's actually in town doing a stay at our shop. But she bought me this as a gift. This has got a wicked awesome pop-up inside. Maybe I'll stick that down here. So this is the soundtrack to the Witchfinder General. Now, the Witchfinder General has Vincent Price, as you can see. Vincent Price died in October of 1993, October 25th, of lung cancer. Man, what do I have to say about Vincent Price? Absolutely nothing. There's a record over there waiting to be opened of another Vincent Price horror movie soundtrack, The Last Man on Earth. I could just have easily have shown that, but that's going to get its own video because there's a story that goes with it. But the Witchfinder General was a gift from me. It's composed by Paul Ferris. Paul Ferris did a lot of UK horror movie scores. Now, this particular score, it's a lot of stings. It's a lot of linking music. So a lot of those short bursts of instrumentals and jolts, like think Cat Scare. But Witchfinder General, mostly because of Vincent Price, but also because of its composer, Paul Ferris, who died October 30th in 1995. Yeah, the average on this is about anywhere from $25 to $30. This is a UK pressing. So yeah. Oh, there's the record itself. Does it have a different? There's the back. Shows the back there. Witchfinder General facts. So yeah, Witchfinder General. I really like this score. Been listening to it because it is Halloween time, and not just him on both sides. I listen to a lot of horror movie scores. A lot of them for new slasher movie kind of scores, but she had bought me this because I had mentioned it, and I was just so humbled. Justine's great, super talented gal, fantastic tattooer, as is Ricky, who wears the Children of the Corn shirts. I work with some talented ladies at my shop. So this next one is a personal favorite. This is Vangelis. This is the soundtrack to Antarctica. Now, this is a 1983 Polydor Japanese import with the OB, as you can see. This goes for about $20 to $30 if you can find it, and try to find a clean copy because this is, I believe, his possibly his second best score, his best score being Blade Runner. That seemed like an obvious pick. This is sort of underappreciated, as Chariots of Fire is another fantastic score he did. He's done 1492. So all fantastic scores, can't go wrong. But Antarctica is, to me, it seems like it's a sister score to both Blade Runner and 1492. They seem connected in their DNA, and perhaps the more rhythmic portions of the Chariots of Fire score. Now, Vangelis died in 2022. We recently lost him. He was 79 years old. We lost him due to heart failure. Now, again, this is a Japanese press, goes for $20 to $30. Try to find it. It's on Polydor, also red. We want to harken back to the red or dead, but this is both red and dead. So that is my dead number 2. Dead number 3, let's go with this one. Also a somewhat red cover. This is a soundtrack for Your Eyes Only, Roger Moore, James Bond. Now, Roger Moore died in May 23rd of 2017. He was 89 years old, and he died of cancer. Now, the composer of this film is still with us. Bill Conti is very much alive, 83 years old, a legend in soundtracks. But the reason I chose this is mostly because I can't disassociate this score, particularly, perhaps also Moonraker, with Roger Moore. Roger Moore was part of my childhood growing up. He was more my Bond than Connery was, but just due to the age and when the movies came out. But now that they're airbrushing guns out of everything, now that Amazon has purchased the James Bond story, they're airbrushing guns out of all the promotional materials. But James Bond, this For Your Eyes Only, of course, the Sheena Easton hit theme song. Now, cool thing about this one, this is a Winchester pressing, easily found for $10. Sheena Easton hit song, For Your Eyes Only. We all know it, opening credits song. The B side of this has a flugelhorn version of the theme by an artist by the name of Derek Watkins, who worked with a lot of different bands, big band setups, orchestra setups, flugelhorn specialist. But I'm a flugelhorn fan. I'm a Chuck Mangione fan. I'm a Miles fan. I love horns. Horns, baby, all day long. Give me horns. Funkadelic, Parliament, horns. I love horns. If I hear horns in your song, I'm a fan of your song 95% of the time. So For Your Eyes Only, great one, can't go wrong. Again, you're getting a good mix of who I am with these videos, just like I kind of found out who the Vinyl Scavenger is, or who Craig Danger is, or who Jen's Addiction is. I mean, it seems like this kind of starts to tell you about the listener and the collections that we have. So there we go. That one is another one for the Deads. This one is something I recently picked up. I picked this up at Vintage Deluxe, the store I did in my last video. Antique mall kind of place with a great record selection, great people. I picked this up out in the wild. This was, I want to say, this might have been part of the trade for that other album I talked about, Angels and Airwaves, that I traded there. But anyways, B-52s. But whoa, what a find, eh? First B-52s album, the debut, self-titled, 1979. This is a Warner Brothers Los Angeles pressing. This is a promo with the yellow labels. There you go. See the yellow labels? They must have changed them later on. Now, this has got a Sterling stamp in it, so you know it's going to sound killer. You just know it. I mean, it's already a party album. I mean, this was my teenage years, 100% party album. Still playing it in junior high and high school, party album. This thing got around. A lot of hits on this one. Ricky Wilson, the older brother of Cindy Wilson, who died in October 12th, 1985, of complications from AIDS. Now, fantastic band, can't go wrong. Got a minor crease, but otherwise great. No dings, no ringwear. Just a solid rocking album. I mean, Planet Claire, 52 Girls, Dance to Mess Around, Rock Lobster. Planet Claire is a favorite of mine. I think I like it more than Rock Lobster, but I mean, damn. Opening a side with Planet Claire and closing that side with Rock Lobster. Holy shit. Wow, what a whammy. Big loss. big loss in the music world. Now, my last one for the dead is an obvious choice. I mean, some people are probably going to pick it somewhere around the line, but it's Miles. Now, this is one of the albums like You're Under Arrest that get a lot of hate, but these were the Miles albums that introduced me to Miles when I was growing up. They were essentially, I call them 80s albums. This was a 1986 album that followed You're Under Arrest. This is kind of harkening, kind of keeping his toe in part of his history and his other toe in part of the future, like You're Under Arrest was a little bit more classical, but still doing covers. There's a great cover in here on the, I'll show you here. So it's got Tutu, Tomas, Portia, Splash, Backyard Ritual, side two, number two, Perfect Way, Don't Lose Your Mind, and Full Nelson. Perfect Way was a hit by Scritti Politti, and Miles just loved it and wanted to cover it, and he did it on this album. Now, this is, as you can see, a modern pressing. This is a Rhino High Fidelity pressing. This is a repress from 2024 by Kevin Gray, pressed at Optimal, cut at Coherent by Mr. Kevin Gray, and it has actually gone down in value. So you can get this now for $10 less than I paid for it. It's a numbered pressing of 5,000, probably still very easily available. And like I said, I saw prices of it for $25 and $30. I paid 40 for it. But this thing gets a lot of play in this room. This is really one of my, what I call my morning albums, when I'm getting up and I'm having coffee and I'm getting dressed and I've fed the horse and fed the cats and cleaned the litter baskets and watched some YouTube and have woken up my wife and given her cappuccino. I go in my room, get dressed, and I put on stuff like this because I don't like a lot of vocals always. By the time I'm hitting my car, I'm listening to vocals, but and getting really trying to wake myself up. But this is sort of the stuff. The Vangelis Antarctica album is another one. I play that in the morning a lot. So there's my red. There's my dead. I'd like to again say this was the Red or Dead challenge, and this was his push, the Vinyl Scavengers push to get to 500 subscribers. I'm literally overnight cracked 200. So I'd love to push to 500. So spread the word, hit like, subscribe. I'm going to make some links, hopefully, in this video if I can figure it out. 55-year-old here, guys. 55. And I'm not computer savvy. I'm learning all of this as I go along. So I'm trying to teach myself. So bear with me. I hope you enjoyed my picks. Pass it on to the next guy. Mention who you saw it from. Like I said, I saw it from the Vinyl Scavenger, Craig Danger, and Jen's Addiction. I hope some other cats jump into this because it's super fun way to spend my Sunday. And thank you for watching, and on to the next.